watching the best Rocket League players in the world. That being said, let's get started with the matches for the European region with the commentary for Mocket versus Northern Gaming is going to be Shogun and Final Carpet.
Last week was the proving week, then this week is Retribution. Both of these teams that we expect to be towards the top end of the table, already suffering losses. This is must win for both of these teams here.
That was like watching a trailer. That was like a good introduction. You've got this nice speech prepared for everybody.
I could use the deeper voice though next time.
That
would work.
It doesn't really matter as long as what you're saying has conviction. Devo. There you go. Perfect. Northern Gaming and Mocket Esports. Don't really know how my mind to get prepared for this game because I think it's going to be a mess for the first game. To be honest, I think they're both going to come out just trying to guns blazing, seeing what they can do. I imagine there's going to be a lot of goals scored. This is like, there's just some matchups where every now and then in one game both teams score like 7 goals.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of those matchups I suspect to see where they both kind of just like let their guard down for a bit. They just keep letting in goals back and forth, and then they kind of like, all right, let's not do that again. Let's go to the next game. Let's have some defense. Let's actually stop some of these shots from going on. But you got any predictions, Shogun?
I predict that the scoring record of the season will be broken, which is currently 11 goals in a single game.
Ooh.
I reckon that will happen, and I reckon one of these teams is also going to take the most goals in a single game. As for predictions on who's winning, that's going to be difficult to tell because Northern Gaming is one of the teams that usually plays pretty clean, but ever since Devo came in, they've been a lot more messy. It's worked outside of the RLCS, but we're yet to see it in the RLCS. They had last week off, time to recover, time to look at what happened and just be like, all right, the leftovers are the leftovers. We took the loss against them. Let's do what we can as we move forward.
And it's interesting to try and figure out what it was that makes them play not as consistent and not as smooth together. You can't really just say it's Devo, because as we all know, Devo's a fantastic player, and he brings nothing but great striking and just good consistency to a team. But again, a lot of it goes into how does the team mesh well. We know Maestro and Remco have been playing together for so long, and this Mocket Esports team, Fairy Peak, K-Dop, and Miskit.
Oh, that's
Miskit for a biscuit.
Miskit for a biscuit. There's a couple of other names, so I'm sure Twitch is going to figure out the rhyming on that one. As we get into this, a third loss for Mocket might put them out of top 2 positioning as Remco's got players aside. That's not a good start at all for Northern Gaming, caught out.
Starting off, well, Mystic trying to correct me, making sure I say his name right this time. That double touch is beautiful. Fairy Peak was actually in an awful position there, right up underneath. But the bad touch from Maestro trying to come across and pinch that out of net. I think he wanted to hit that into the post and time that. But the problem is you take that risk of you have to wait until it's like halfway in the net. And he wasn't able to get the touch he wanted, and it left it wide open for Fairy Peak.
Remember, these players will not want to look to hit it into their opponents. They do not want those rebounds to be too easy. And Mocket going to try and go for more of a mispositioning style of play. Is he going to pass that one over to the side? Constantly trying to get touches, not making this easy for Northern Gaming at all. And they have kept Northern Gaming in their own half almost the entirety of this opening minute. Here comes Maestro finally getting into that Mocket end, but it's just basically a pass over to Mystic. But here's what Northern Gaming do so well, pressuring another team into their final third and not allowing them to escape. But Mocket have done a great job of getting out there, and K-Dop flicks that over to the side. Northern Gaming not looking rattled by that early goal.
Not rattled, but they're not looking terribly smooth. A couple of just awkward positionings, but there's a beautiful touch. Maestro and Remco always going to work out together. I think Mocket needs to be careful when you see those two advancing together. They don't even need to talk. I feel like they just, at this point, they've been playing for how long now?
It's a really, really long time. That is a very awkward defense, but a lot of players committed to that. K-Dop flicks that long, but Devo is back, and you are 100% correct. Only apart from Cooksit and Marky Dudar, these are the longest standing duo in Europe. As Fairy Peak tries to get it off the side, but Remco will not allow the rebound to happen. He's got that ball on the wall, looking for Maestro, who tries to get up there, but it's been the ongoing story throughout EU. Every single team so good at predicting plays, and on 1, 2, 3, they try to go for a shot, but nothing powerful enough, and now Maestro's in that 1v1. He's got it over to the side. Can he flick that over? No, tries to go for the fake, but Mystic has it covered.
Mystic did a great job of trying to cover as many angles as possible. He kept his car sideways, so Maestro, if he wanted to pop it over, he had the double jump. If he wanted to pop it to the right, he had the boost, but he was also in a position to stand still and block that with the 50-50.
They're leaving K-Dop so often down the other end of the field. It's been doing wonders for them. Just holding him towards that middle side of the field, letting him reposition the ball whenever he wants to. And Northern Gaming have not found a response that hasn't resulted in a shot towards their net. As Devo tries to go for the clearance, he's going to follow that up. He's managed to get extra contact, taking Mystic out of the play, but he's also taken himself. Does not matter. Remco goes for the set Maestro. He was always going to be coming second up on that one. That's left Devo by himself, but he's going to buy himself some time using that wall. Clearance away. He's found Maestro. He's just put that one over to the side, looking for a rebound. Devo and the rest of Northern Gaming have got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to find themselves a goal after that early lead picked up by Mocket. Here's Maestro. He's going to try it yet again. 1v1 against Mystic. Takes it over the top bit. This time, it's not a 1v1, it's a 1v3. And you can beat that first one all you want. They are still going to come in and clean up afterwards.
Northern Gaming seems to be just one slow reaction time away from getting scored on many occasions. Mocket just seems to be one step ahead at all times, always predicting each other's touches, always trying to read things out. Look at this. Oh my God, Mystic to K-Dop! Right there in the corner, what a gorgeous pass.
The cut across from the middle, great play there. And as you said, Mocket just seems to be reading this game so well right now. Reading the fact that the ball was going to come out, getting it over, passing it to the middle, and a great shot from K-Dop.
They're following everything. They're really trying to read each other, even if they're getting contested. You see Fairy Peak, Mystic, and K-Dop always there, trying to fill in the holes, not letting any balls go unanswered.
K-Dop, the Red Bull Esports Player of the Month, and he showed it just there with that shot. Here's the touch-up, though. Remco, they've got a response, and it was a much-needed one.
And right now, making sure they can break that clean slate. Don't get 0 goals. Don't want to get cut out. It is a tight mentality to break through, but Remco and Devo working well together there to keep that in, keep it a 1-point game with a minute and a half left. It's all the time in the world for Northern Gaming.
That's the first time they've managed to get an uncontested shot off. Here comes Mystic, too far away from him though, but he still managed to do something with it. Remco's got to deal with this. It's a great way to get past K-Dop, but cannot get it past Fairy Peak. Doesn't matter though, as Devo, the aerial master, comes forward. Mystic with the long clearance onto that one. 1 minute and 23 seconds remaining here. 1 goal separating these two teams as Devo gets that one up high. He's got Remco and Maestro both up in support. Maestro's going to go for it, takes the shot, he gets off the side, and Remco's gone for it. There's no one back on this one. K-Dop's going to take the shot, and an overcommitment from Northern Gaming.
I feel like they maybe thought they had to commit to that, being 1 goal down, going down to a minute left. Remco and Maestro really tried to play something tight. Maestro's shot was almost on target from a really wide angle. It was really impressive, but just a bit off, and well read by Mock to get it off that backboard, get the hard clear, and follow it up.
Didn't go for anything too fancy, just putting it straight into the net, and Mocket looking good in this first game. This has not been the tame sort of game one that we usually see. Both these teams coming out obviously a little bit sloppy at times, but that is to be expected as these two teams slowly start to warm themselves up into the competitive environment. Maestro, long clearance, looking for Devo. Oh, Devo tried to get it off the wall where Remco would have followed it up, but Mocket, yet again, that defense on point. Fairy Peak's got time. He's managed to fake out one play. He's got it onto his hood. Managed to put it out up high. Didn't have to boost, though, to try and get any extra power into it. And there's a bump from Fairy Peak. Mystic puts it up high, but yet again, not going to follow it. No need to. Keep everyone in defense.
Sometimes I feel like if you're in a Batmobile, you're giving yourself a disadvantage on the dribbles, because I feel like you always expect Batmobile players to flick the ball, no matter what.
The problem is, though, is that when that Batmobile does flick the ball, it doesn't matter if you expected it. That thing's hitting the roof. Pass over, Mystic cannot reach that one at all. Final 10 seconds of this matchup, and Mocket have looked good in this. And Northern Gaming yet to find their stride. Here comes Devo, long clearance from him, but 1-0 to Mocket Esports.
And you brought up a good point when we first started. It seems like Northern Gaming just a little bit disheveled, like they woke up late and they had to get a lot of clothes on really quick and they put on mismatching socks, like they were almost there. And you can cover it up with some really nice pants, but if someone sees your socks, you'll be like, oh man, sorry, I wasn't able to match my socks today. But they're just a little bit short of being able to keep these to really close games. Mocket Esports, I know, right? What a great...
This sounds personal experience. That's how well you've told this story.
It steered off, and then I came back. But Mocket Esports, I'm really impressed. Some of those passing plays, don't worry.
He's wearing the right socks, don't worry.
I'm a sock guy. I'm one of those. I'm really into socks, as you can't tell. But Mocket Esports, I am really impressed with those passing plays. Moving it from defense to offense nearly flawlessly so many times. And they really put Northern Gaming on a tight spot. A couple of missed touches. At the very end, I saw Remco just flat out miss grabbing a boost, which you don't see from those players very often.
Yeah, certainly. As K-Dop once again coming up huge here. A hat trick for him. And he's been one of the highest scoring average, like not as in goals, but highest scoring in-game score average per game across both regions. He's been on fire so far this season. And him and Fairy Peak, whilst we're still waiting to see that duo come out as much as we would expect them to, still playing so well in this. Mystic seems to have found himself a new light in this team. He seemed like that third player back in when he was playing for Northern Gaming. This team, he actually looks like he's able to come forward and show what he can really do, because he is a ridiculously experienced player.
He's been around for a long time, and it's one of those, a lot of times, people especially that are following the RLCS, there's a lot of players that kind of go quiet in the shadows. They're there for a long time, they've been competing forever, but it's easy to maybe not notice them if they're not one of the star players, especially early on in the RLCS.
I mean, Matt is a prime example of that over on the US side. A lot of people didn't even know he was in previous seasons, and they're having to point out, like, yo, he's been here all the time. You just haven't been paying attention. As Devo goes for the shot, great angle from him. That's going to be Mucket yet again, ready and capable of clearing that one away. Now K-Dop looking for the pass out, got it straight into the middle. Overshoot shot there by Fairy Peak. It's going to require Mystic to put that one up high and allow his team to start rotating back.
I like the control. The Maestro and Remco always opting to slow it down if they have the choice. Always trying to get the dribble together so that they can seek each other out. Always trying to keep that ball on their hood.
There's two players going up for that one. They're going to get a lot of power onto it. As Fairy tries to go boost stealing. Over into the corner. Someone's got to try and take control of this. A long clearance from Devo. Means he's just going to go into that third from Mucket. Fairy Peak doesn't get much contact onto that one. We're a minute into this matchup. And suddenly very tentative from both these teams, just going for long clearances. Northern Gaming, I think this is smart from them, though, as they can readjust themselves and start finding that teamwork that we've become so used to seeing from them. Long clearance from Maestro. Is anyone back for that one? That could be hitting the crossbar. Follow-up from Devo. And I have no idea what Mucket was playing at.
Fairy Peak went to go contest this, not expecting the monster clear from Maestro, and he was the last one back. Maybe he expected K-Dop to be back. It's really hard to know exactly who they thought would be there. That clear was phenomenal, and I think that was an unexpected clear as far as the side of Mucket Esports goes. They were not prepared to have to defend something like that.
Well, the majority of clearances you can usually get a hold of by the time it hits the middle ground. That one was just a monstrous one, as you said. Goes all the way, and now Northern Gaming pick up that early lead. Can they maintain it, or even more importantly, can they increase it? We're going to find out as Fairy Peak. He's up onto the wall in that battle reveal. He's trying to find the pass over to the side. Devo clears that one. And yeah, very good from him, getting the corner as well, so it's going to relieve some pressure. That's allowed Northern Gaming to recollect themselves, and they've got themselves into a difficult position here. Maestro, great dunk from him.
Now we're seeing the trust from Northern Gaming, pulling the last man out of net. Remco and Maestro knew they'd seek each other out. This is the duo we talked about, and then positioning himself for the dunk as well, not allowing the clear.
And it's the one thing we didn't expect to be an issue for Mucket, but now two long clearances comes in to try and bite them. Needs to be fixed up as Devo puts that one over to the corner. He's going to get a hold of it, but K-Dop ends up missing that one, requiring Fairy Peak to take it all the way down to the other end of the field. Be interesting to see what's happening in Mucket's rotations to see if that's what's allowing these long clearances to do so much damage to them. As Fairy Peak gets into the corner looking for Mystic, but he also cannot reposition himself into a good position to try and take a shot. That's going to be a pass straight out. Devo takes the shot, but into Fairy Peak, who gets the save. Now Mucket looking for the counterattack. They're onto the other end of the field. Mystic putting that one down, but that's going to be easily taken up by Maestro.
Again, slowing the ball down, opting for the dribble to try and beat the 1v1. Devo's going to fall through, but with no third player, this weak touch from Fairy Peak could do some damage, though.
Remco's got that into the area, but Mystic will happily take that one away. But Remco refusing to go away there, and that's going to require more defense from Mucket, as they've got to get rid of this one. Mystic, long clearance from him. Fairy Peak gets an extra touch. He's got that one set up. Here comes K-Dop, puts that one straight for another setup, and that is going to be the opportunity going awry. And an opportunity they really needed to take. Mucket still 2 goals down, 2 minutes remaining.
As much as I'm enjoying watching them slow the ball down for the dribbles, all Remco, Maestro, and Devo now, I've seen them each do it several times. I don't know how well it's working against Mucket. I mean, obviously they're up 2-0 right now, but Mucket loves to contest. They're trying that fast pace.
Oh my goodness! Oh. Remco breaks the goal like he broke my voice there. Great shot from him.
That's the nice reaction I like to see, but Remco, I have no idea how he came up for that. Devo with the goal secure, coming so far off the wall. Now we're seeing them come out with that mechanical prowess we know what Northern Gaming is capable of, and here it is.
It's never happened to me before, Carpet. I feel broken after that one.
You get used to it, trust me. Not a big deal.
Tried to go for the snap onto that one.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much, Carpet. Mock-it, they've got so much work to do now. 90 seconds remaining, and they've got 3 goals to come back from. As Northern Gaming find their footing in this matchup. It's going to be a pass straight out. Mystic can take the shot onto this. That is a cluster happening right there. K-Dot goes for the shot, but Remco's got it covered.
I like the slow shot, too. Trying to bait out the defender, knowing he'd be reading the power hit. Remco wants to follow this through. Can he get a dunk with it as well? No. He opts to save at least what little boost he had left.
1 minute remaining here. Northern Gaming looking comfortable. No defensive mistakes from them so far. Long clearance yet again. It's going to require a bit of a sloppy save there from K-Dot. Allows Maestro and the rest of Northern Gaming to continue to keep this ball in their final half. Remco puts that to the side. He can follow that one up. He's going to try to, but out of boost for that. Leaves it for Maestro, who can't put it onto target. But Devo, yet again, 3-prong attack from Northern Gaming, a staple that we've come to recognize them for over the seasons.
But they keep their attack short-lived. They're playing it smart, especially now that they're up by 3 goals. They'll do their 1, 2, 3 shots, and then they all just kind of back off, play some defense. They haven't had any terrifying shots coming their way just yet, so they've been playing the backfield comfortably.
Well, the reason why I like that so much is a shot comes in. Devo, a great save from him, is whoever goes for the setup or the original shot immediately starts rotating back. Then they take the 2 other shots, but that person that took the first shot is always rotating back. So they have their 3 attacks, then they leave it.
Now, Shogun, all 3 Northern Gaming goals seem to be on counterattacks for this game. 2 were kind of open, and 1 was a beautiful shot in from Maestro, secured by Devo. It's ripping the stats away from his dear friend. But, you know, the fact that all those are counterattacks, it's what they're setting themselves up for, right? They're not overcommitting, and they're making sure of it. I'd almost say they're undercommitting at times, where they'll take their 3 shots, and they probably could have kept the aggression on, starve their opponent to boost, but they're trying to play the safe card because Mock-it Esports loves to play so fast.
We've got a surprise.
Do we?
Ladies and gentlemen, our next map is going to be Wasteland.
Oh.
And I just heard James squeal because he loves this map so much.
It's his absolute favorite map. I think most of his wins come from Wasteland.
His
I
only
think he's
wins.
triple thumbs it up in ranked.
He is. He's looking at us right now. He's so happy.
Yeah, he's pretty excited over there. He's freaking out. I'm glad you guys can't hear him. It actually hurts my ears.
Well, Northern Gaming managed to bring this series back to 1-1. Wasteland. An interesting pick here. The stat is still the same. No team that has picked any sort of non-standard map.
I think there might be one.
I
think there's one.
It's still a low stat.
It's a low stat.
It's a very low win ratio if you pick a non-standard map.
I can confidently say like less than 20, less than 40%.
Less than 100%.
That is a confident. There you go. There's a confident man to my right.
Well, let's see who can continue their confidence in this matchup. Mock-it ended up giving away a lot of cheap goals in that last game. Apart from that third one, that was just a sublime bit of skill from Remco. Can we see some of the same again? We are going to find out just here. For you, what does Mock-it have to do on this rotation in order to avoid those sort of counterattacks happening again?
I think they can outpace Northern Gaming, since it seems like Northern Gaming's relying on their individual skills to win that quick early 1v1. You see them slow down the ball so much. Remco barreling that pass too. We see them do that so many times, but I think if Mock-it can pick up that pace, try and outpace them and contest absolutely everything, they won't be able to get any passing plays in order.
Puts that one up high. Here comes Remco, gets the block onto that one. Still going to be dangerous as K-Dot gets over to Mystic. Lovely flick on from him, but Maestro has to cover that back wall in order to avoid any sort of rebounding shot. Fairy Peak over to Mystic. It just seems like they've got the setup correct, but there's no real opportunity to take a shot. But Mock-it doing a great job of keeping out of their half, which is pretty much all you need to do if you want to avoid a loss. But now that's an open net. Maestro is going to try and put that one in. He's going to go for the setup instead. And K-Dot back just in time. Not enough boost to take advantage of the open goal.
Oh my! That was terrifying, even knowing he wasn't going to be able to get there in time. Remco and Maestro playing that a little too slow for my personal comfort, but it worked out for them.
Maestro's up on that wall now. Mystic, though, gets the block onto it. Going to require Devo to come through. He's managed to take it past 2 players now. He's got 1 more left. He's going to go for the setup onto this one. He's got Maestro around, but cannot get the bounce off the wall. Doesn't matter, though. Shot comes in, hits the post, and Remco gets another touch to turn it in.
What? Hold on. I need to know how quickly he reacted for the second touch. The first one, just hitting the corner.
Go, 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 go,
oh,
go, go,
he just at the last second slammed on his e-brake, made sure he got that second touch in, because that I think was bouncing out. He actually had to secure that shot.
Yeah, the tendency of the post is usually to bounce straight outwards. So very smart from Remco, gets him into the right position and just flings his car. As Remco tries to make it 2. Mystic, though, in the right position to save that one. But Northern Gaming making good use of this map so far. Getting in each other's way, though. But Devo, he can happily take this one all the way. Puts that one up high. Here's Remco. Try to go for the setup, but they arced bit off that wall, or the ceiling, so to speak. Ends up ruining any sort of rebound opportunity for Maestro.
That was a tough choice, although I do like it. He knew it would drop straight back down, but I think it angled a bit too far, closer to the post, and Devo had to be the next one to answer. But I think it seems that Northern Gaming really is relying on their individual skill at the moment. They slow down that ball, they try and beat out 1 or 2 players. What I do like about it is they're spacing out as a team because they're just trusting their teammates to do something, and if they don't, they're always there to follow it up.
Certainly Arcade Up goes for the shot onto that one. Hits the side of the wall. But yeah, I have to agree with you when it comes to Northern Gaming's positioning right now, doing a great job of spacing it all out. But Mystic, he's got 1 touch. Can he get 2? No, he cannot, but does not matter. Fairy Peak comes in and says, all right, mate, you can go for the highlight reel play. I'll go for the goal.
As long as it goes in, Fairy Peak's not going for the flashy play here. He ended up just getting that backflip last second. Maestro following it through, and remember, it might look like Maestro should have seen that, but with ball cam on, he had no idea Fairy Peak was underneath it. To be fair, that is a weird place to find your opponent. Underneath the ball, at a standstill, leading to backflip just to get the touch.
And your eyes are 100% on Mystic in that play as we saw the attempted passing coming through from Devo and Maestro. Mocket cannot get rid of this one. They've made it so difficult for themselves, but they've eventually, in the most scrappy way possible, got it out of their net, but not out of their zone. And that's going to be a great touch from Fairy Peak. Gets over to the corner, but Maestro is sat there ready and waiting. Leaves that one. Remco into the middle. Can he find it? No, he cannot. The pass just not strong enough, but Devo's come out. 2 players from Mocket committed to that one, and Fairy Peak has to get the save. Mocket just seems like they can get a little panicked in defense at the moment, but Mystic attempted to go all the way on that one.
Mocket was starting to get started for boost. Fairy Peak there at the end had literally nothing. What a redirect! Remco!
This is becoming more and more active now. Remco sat down the other end of the field, always ready and waiting, as Devo has to try and scramble his way back to get a hold of that save. But these passes over to Remco are lethal right now, and Mocket have really got to be looking out for it. Especially if they do overcommit, Remco is always going to find the net, and that can reach Northern Gaming's end to Mocket's goal within about 3 seconds flat. Oh, attempted shot there, but ends up just shooting Maestro. Puts that one long, but Remco's got that one covered. Over to Devo, who's on the wall. Not enough contact onto that one, and now Mystic can go for the dribbling play. He's got Maestro only to beat in net. Maestro not only avoiding the bump from Fairy Peak, but getting the save. And we are still 1-1 heading into the final 50 seconds of this matchup. It almost seems like the different style that you had to play on Wasteland has almost fixed Mocket's rotations.
It's done a great job of keeping them at their pace, and I think the ball inherently just kind of always bounces towards the middle. Part of why I'm so bad at it. And
every single time! Northern Gaming just leaving 1 player up and always finding almost the target. Mocket, they've got to be so worried about this right now because there is no such thing as a safe play once it's in that middle ground.
Will Maestro follow that through? He does actually get 1 more touch.
It's going to be Remco trying to put that one over, but his teammates are starting to rotate back. Final 10 seconds here, and you'll start thinking about overtime. Devo's going to try and get himself up. It's going to be a loose ball as Mocket try and get themselves back. Remco took the shot, not on target, tries to follow it, but was always rolling away from the net, and we have reached overtime.
Got a little back and forth, huh, Shogun?
It is, it's a little bit close. As Devo puts that one up high, Maestro's going to be up there to try and finish it early. Northern Gaming, the offense is starting to come out, and Remco. That's not a rocket, that's not a laser rocket. He found the net.
You see Devo slightly hesitate. He thought about it. He's like, maybe I'll turn around and pass this to Remco. And I'm sure he heard the call out. Remco's like, nah, man, don't worry. I'm going to slam this straight into net, and it's the pace that we've seen from him so far today. 6 shots on goal for Remco, 2 of them connecting with the back of the net. 4 shots for Devo and a single shot for Maestro, but they are getting the passes they need. They're finding their teammates up ahead. I think Wasteland essentially promotes that. Wall play on Wasteland, a lot less apparent.
Yes.
It's so much more difficult because as soon as you drive it up the wall, you realize that you keep going out and the ball stopped following you.
Yeah, I mean, I love that from what they did in this game. They went, right, no wall. We're not going to use it at all. Instead, long clearances. They found it 3 different times. Just a long clearance straight into someone going for a redirect. And they almost hit the target every single time. huge here right now. Remco is playing out of his mind right now, but the rest of his team is facilitating that. Northern Gaming looks like a force.
Yeah, and I think Mocket is slowly trying to ramp up, trying to close those gaps off. You definitely have to be careful, knowing, especially Remco and Maestro, they're always going to be looking for each other. But there were a few times I saw Northern Gaming pushing up. They had starved Mocket quite a bit. There was Fairy Peak in net with literally no boost, and it seemed like just some sort of hiccup happened in Northern Gaming. They didn't know who was going for what, and then they ended up losing that traction and they ended up dropping back to defense instead. When I feel like there are times they could have kept it up if they'd kept it tighter and organized a bit more. They could have taken a few more shots that eventually it probably would have gone in, but it still worked out for them. They still did take the victory in that game.
Certainly did. So Northern Gaming have now won 2 in a row, and they are 1 more away from a much-needed victory. A loss here from Mocket would put them down to 3 losses, which would almost all but confirm them being out of those top 2 positions as that clearance comes through. And if you're the leftovers, we haven't spoken about them this game, but if you're the leftovers and you see Mocket losing this one, you're very happy because leftovers own the tiebreaker against Northern Gaming, whilst Pocket Aces own the tiebreaker against Mocket. Both those teams still undefeated. So that's going to be Remco, takes the shot, Mystic has to get there. Here's Maestro. Cannot get anything dangerous, but that is going to be Northern Gaming still in this final third. Unable to find anything though, as Mocket Aces, Mocket Esports, I told you, I was always going to make a mistake on that one.
I won't fault you, but next time I definitely will fault you.
Okay, yeah, let me have my 1.
You got your 1.
We'll start concerning about my inability to talk afterwards. It's a very slow game so far in this one. Mocket just seemed like they don't want to make any mistakes.
Mocket really trying to follow this through. A couple of gaps left open, but I think they're playing the safe card, and there's their own passing play midfield. Will Fairy Peak reach that? Just a bit mispredicted. It's going to leave it for Maestro, and this is actually terrifying. Last man on net, Mystic.
Yeah, but that touch was way too high. Diva's going to try and keep the offense going, but cannot get contact. As everyone just flailing at this one, a really random 1-2 play that comes from Mystic and Fairy Peak. He's going to try and take the shot into that one, but not enough power. And it's not going to trouble Maestro at all. And Northern Gaming getting very good at predicting where this ball's going to be and getting these blocks early on. Holding Mocket at least to the midfield.
And Mocket is retreating always nearly just in time to get some of these saves that we've seen. Oh, I like that demo.
Yeah,
really trying to shut down that aggression, but will it be enough? Yes. Yes, it will.
Yes, it will. But we saw that immediately replaced by Maestro in that rotation. That's how well these guys are positioning themselves. And there's going to be a return demo coming up from Maestro onto K-Dop. He's going to follow that up with a long clearance. 2 minutes into this matchup. No real offense to speak of for either team. As Diva's going to try and follow that one up. It's going to be a clearance away, though. But this much slower style of play. This is very much against what we saw Mocket trying to do earlier on. It's going to be a pass outwards. And you almost get a little bit afraid here because those long clearances can come from Northern Gaming at any time. And it does not matter about the pace, however, for Mocket to get their style of play going. They do need to almost overwhelm Northern Gaming.
And right now, Northern Gaming is going to have to start struggling for boosts if they don't get this soon. We'll see that corner boost get stolen by Remco, and it does. He comes and takes it from Mystic. If Maestro can keep this on target and near the half, and if they can steal one more boost, Mocket will be in a really tight spot.
Long clearance away, but Devo going to play that one off the side. Fairy Peak has to get contact onto that one because Remco was ready and waiting for it. Mystic gets it to the other end of the field, but both these teams still struggling for any real opportunity. Now Maestro's going to go to the side. Fairy Peak is against him, but into the corner where it's at its safest. And there's going to be another clearance away from Mystic. Both these teams taking their time, but Fairy Peak tried to get extra contact onto that one, looping it over the top of Devo, but could not quite do it. They're going to try it yet again. K-Dop puts that high. Fairy Peak still waiting out down on the other side of the field, but still unable to get anything onto it. That's going to be played into the corner yet again. Both these teams very methodical in the way they're playing right now.
They really are, and Mocket is doing a great job of turning on and off the heat whenever they feel needed. When they have to drop back on defense, they don't overcommit to anything silly, but as the moment they get control, you see all three of them advance together, space out accordingly, and try and just hold it in Northern Gaming's half, but still 0-0. Both teams are answering each other's attacks.
It's going to be an attempt to clear away from K-Dop. No follow-up onto that one. what Mocket is doing right now is going to be very good if they want to avoid those sort of redirect plays that we saw throughout the entirety of that Wasteland match, although they cannot avoid that one. Great shot there, hits the crossbar. Devo cannot get contact, but still loose, cleared away by K-Dop, and Mocket avoid disaster.
Remco's been a midfield monster. I don't know how he's keeping the pace on these shots, but he has been putting Mocket in a tight spot every time. That 100% would have been in the net had he put that just a bit more on target.
Cleared away by Remco. Northern Gaming starting to get used to this pace now as they find more and more ways to try and break through the Mocket defense. Devo puts that one down, but no one going to be there for that one. As Northern Gaming prioritized defense on that one. Remco gets the pass out. It's going to be there for Maestro, who puts that one up high. Northern Gaming chooses to leave that one yet again. 30 seconds remaining here. And we came into this saying, oh, it's going to be loads of goals all over the place. No. Completely scoreless right now. That's going to be a pass straight outwards. Too much power onto it, though. It was an open net. But Northern Gaming can try and get this. Devo gets one touch. He's going to try and go for the rear admiral. Can't get it all the way, though. But Remco follows it up. Save there from Mystic. And Mocket have held on valiantly in normal time. Can they keep it going, though, and reach extra time? Oh, that's a terrible save there, Fairy Peak. And 1-0 Northern Gaming. They might have just taken this.
With 2 seconds left, Fairy Peak had just picked up that boost pad too, so he had the boost, but I feel like maybe he was trying to save it or he just misread it, but so unfortunate for him. But fortunate for Northern Gaming as that goal from Devo will sink in with only 2 seconds left. Will they take this series?
Fairy has to try and respond now. He cannot get that second touch. That's going to drop to the net. And you hate to see this kind of thing happen, but Northern Gaming, 3 games to 1, and the desk got it right.
It appears Northern Gaming put on their business socks this morning, and I am impressed to see them starting to come together. Both of these teams are teams I think will evolve as league play goes on and really start to just feel each other and really get into the skin that is going to be their team. I think Northern Gaming especially, bringing on Devo, I think I knew it would be a little hectic at first because I think Devo in general, since he has a lot of mechanical skill, is going to want to do a lot of things that maybe Remco and Maestro aren't used to. We look at Mocket Esports, a lot of those players, again, really fantastic players. Fairy Peak, one of the most unbelievable 1v1 players I've ever seen, really good at that 1v1 play. They had their moments, but just a bit short. They only were able to take 1 game in that.
And only able to take 1 shot during that as well. That was a heck of a series from Northern Gaming. Let's talk more about it. Axel Toss, over to you.
Thank you, Shogun and Finable Carpet. That wraps up our first match of the day. Pretty nice one indeed. Axel Toss here, joined by James Bott and Lawler. Honestly, guys, I'm really excited to watch Devo all the time. That was one of my favorite movements that happened during the offseason coming into Season 3. What team is going to take down Flipside Tactics? I think Northern Gaming make a really cool move, bringing on Devo, one of the most exciting players, and I think he showed up big time in that series.
Yeah, it looks unbelievable in that game. Those guys going back and forth, unbelievably crazy. But I talked about which team was going to heat up first, and you look at this. Devo and the guys started off a little bit slow as Mocket kept bombarding in shots, but the way they responded, and they talked about it so many times, Remco's redirects were on point. Even though some of them were off a little bit, the amount of pressure and the amount of power that he put into it alone kept that pressure for this Northern Gaming team.
Really, this shot off the wall, this steal from Devo, criminal. But that play from Remco, really, and then the Wasteland pick. This was actually a mock pick. According to the rules, the team that loses game 1 gets to pick game 2 and game 4. So this one was a mock pick, and guess what? History says if you pick Wasteland, you're going to lose. They ignored that rule, and they picked Wasteland and lost.
And you're not joking. I think it's 100% of the time.
It might be, literally 100%.
I think it's like all but 1 possibly, but I don't think I've seen any of these guys try Wasteland Knight yet, so maybe they need to do that.
Perhaps. I would like to see that. Or some Starbase.
But the speed, though, in all honesty, the speed of this game, this is EU Rocket League, right? This is what we have come to know from these guys, especially a team like Northern Gaming. They picked up Devo. Devo, the highest scorer on Northern Gaming right now. He's going to keep that streak going, putting 3 into the net this series. But Remco, he came alive this series as well. They were playing so fast. It was a delight to watch.
I mean, you and I were talking during the off time. It was like the speed and the pace of like the top 4 in EU. Now it's not even like the top 4. It's like the top 6. Like all of them are battling, and it's super close. I'm scared for NA, man.
Yeah, some of the passing plays from that, even that Wasteland game where it was all 3 of them, it was about 30 seconds left on the clock, and Remco, He was on the last end of the second pass and just blistered a shot barely off the crossbar. The Northern Gaming was heating up. They were looking insane.
It's so much fun watching these team plays. And those are the team plays you see cut out into clips and everyone shares with each other. And honestly, it inspires me to do those team plays as well. So if you want to play with me in Rocket League, add me on Steam. We'll pull off some of those Northern Gaming plays.
What are you ranked? Potato?
You know what, James? I need you to calm down. You need to relax. Please.
You're actually a radish, right? I don't know.
Hey,
oh, wait, no, that's over now.
I got eggplant last season.
No, you
so
did
everyone
you really?
knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I did.
That's good.
Come on, man. I got my eggplant wheels. Anyway, I want to talk about Northern Gaming a little bit more because that's the last match we're going to see from them today. A little bit of a sad face there. I love watching this team play. What do you guys think is going through their mind right now? They just came in, really good, really nice match here. They're playing pretty well. So how do you think Northern Gaming's thinking going into the rest of the season?
They have to be happy about this. Mach-It is one of those big teams, but still they have a long road ahead of them. They've got a tough schedule, but this was a win if they wanted to finish in that top 2 spot that they needed to get, and they got it. So they must feel very happy about it. And just as a unit, Northern Gaming, they were playing just stellar Rocket League. They were a little bit fortunate in that last game. We saw Fairy Peak. He had a very savable ball and let that one by. So that one, that one's definitely going to hurt, but Northern Gaming has to be very happy with this win.
No, it puts them in a great position. They come off the bye week, get their win, and now they can go into the the second half of the season feeling comfortable. So
pretty comfortable win. They look like they're in excellent form. So looking forward to seeing Northern Gaming in action again. 2 weeks from now in league play, you might see them a little bit in midseason mayhem next week. That being said, we're going to take a break, but remember, join the conversation. Hashtag RLCS to see your tweet on the stream. Coming up next, we have more Rocket League. It's going to be Penta versus Mach-It. Can Mach-It bring it back and come out with a win out of this week? We're going to find out. Stay tuned.